Morning everyone. I am talking about eyebrows, short video on eyebrows. It's morning here in Orange in New South Wales in Australia where I live, and it's my first real day back at work after what in Australia we typically have a long holiday. I've done quite a full makeup. I'm going to try this out with you on a video at some point, so getting this look and sharing the products. I felt I needed a little extra to face the day, if you know what I mean. And obviously makeup's really great for that. And during the trying times in my life, we've all had them by the time we get to 60 odd, I've found makeup was my armor, helped me face the day. A couple of things I'm quite fixated about. One of them is eyebrows. I've got virtually no hair left except for the very front bits here, which when I get up close you'll be able to see. And one of the things that I know out of doing a lot of research and looking at my friends and looking at videos is eyebrows can make a huge difference to how we look in terms of age, how we look, how polished we might look or choose to look. If I did nothing else and I had only a few tools to my name, a good eyebrow pencil, some sort of filler and a really good eyebrow brush and some very teeny scissors to cut the hairs, not pluck them, would be my go-to tools. So you can see I've got full face of makeup. My eyebrows are very, very pale in comparison. So I'm going to zhuzh them up a little bit. My hair's going to be down, but you can see, you know, with my hair down, I'm able to conceal a little bit about what I'm going to show you, because the shape of my eyebrows, as you can see, they're very, I'm going to just take a brush so you can see what I'm talking about. Very, they've got a reasonable arch, that's my natural arch, and then they curve down like this. Do you see that? And pretty much on the same side, on the other side. Now that has the appearance of literally dragging my forehead down, dragging my face down, which is not the desired effect that we want. So the trend, particularly in youthful makeup, is to have the eyebrow have an arch if you can, or whatever you're born with, go with that, and then taper it off a little bit outwards, kind of like the wing I've done on my eyeliner with the pencil, is to follow that shape out a little bit. Now these brows have been tattooed, feather touch. Now that was about the last time I had that done over the past 10-15 years. When it first started, it was really good new technology, and it still is, to be fair. Much better than the block tattoo. I managed to avoid that. Some of you may be still dealing with the impacts of that. It's not an easy fix, is it? If you've explored, getting rid of any tattoo is a labor-intensive process. I'm not up for that, to be honest. It's not that bad. This tattoo feathering was done in 2017. In September, I can remember, and the technician was very good. She actually followed the line of my brows. There's nothing wrong with that. She followed the line of my brows. I didn't know any different, and that's what I'm left with 5 years later. Happily, it's not gone blue, which I understand some pigments do, but it has gone a kind of reddy colour, which you can't really see. Excuse me. So I deal with that on a daily basis by colouring them with a really, really good pencil. I don't tend to use the pomades or the powders. I find I don't get as accurate a look, but I love a really sharp pencil. And I'll show you which one I use in a minute. But first I've got to do something with this shape. Now, you can see with my hair up, I've got quite a lot of, got a few patches coming here, which I'm trying to deal with another video for another time. But what I want to do is sort of conceal that tail there. I'm going to try some very stiff, dry concealer. So it sits on top of the makeup that's already there, and there where I can then use a pencil to shape it slightly differently. When my hair's down, you won't see it so much. And even when my hair's up, I still do it. Whether it notices or not, I'm not sure, but I feel better about it. So here we go. This is what I'm about to do. I'll try and get in really close as I can. Now the concealer I'm using, I've got two. This one today is from Trini. Now, she doesn't need me to promote her stock, that's for sure. But it's one of the only things I've really loved from her product range. I'm not a fan myself of cream eyeshadows. I don't find it gives me the malleability that I like, but a lot of women absolutely swear by it, and you may be amongst them. But for me, I love her BFF Distress foundation. It's brilliant for me, my skin. And this concealer, which is the, I think it's called Just a Touch. It's a foundation and a concealer, but I only use it as a concealer. And this colour is Trintron. I've got quite red tones in my skin, and when I use the Match to Me little quiz thing on her website, it actually worked really well. So this was the colour I ended up with. Now I'm going to use my strong mirror so I can see up close what I'm doing, and hopefully that won't detract from what you're seeing. Now, my favourite brush for this is a Bobbi Brown angled brush, and all I'm doing, if you can see, to get the light around a bit more. So all I'm doing is I'm taking the angled brush with a little dab of concealer, and I'm just blanking out the tail of that brow. And you know what? It's where the pigment is strongest, wouldn't you know it? So you can see I've just blunted the end of that, just a tiny little dab, literally on the shape. I try not to go outside the shape. There's still some hairs there, which I could pluck, but I haven't. I think we try and conserve all our hairs, don't we? But you can see I've just completely changed. I've completely finished that end. Can't really see it unless you were really up close. Do the same on the other side. You can see one side, as somebody pointed out, makeup artist pointed out, is actually goes down longer than the other. So symmetry wasn't something this lady had in mind when she did my brows. Notwithstanding that, I've lived with this for 5 years, and I'm actually quite happy with the result, to be honest. I'm not doing anything further until I get this thing sorted with this tail. So I'm experimenting literally with this, and I'm asking friends if in fact it's as invisible as I think it is, because it might well not be. Now I've got to powder this out somehow, and because I've got colour on, you know, I've got bronzer and various other things on there, got to be careful about the colour I actually put on there. Okay, so I'm going to use this product called, it's from Designer Brands, and I've actually got it on my face today. This is the medium, and I've got a combination of the light and the medium. Now it's a mineral foundation, which for my skin being quite dry, I don't normally use, but again, I'll do this in another video so you can see it. It's actually, as long as you've prepped your face well, that's the key. It's actually gone on really, really well, and it's quite light. It's a lighter feel and a lighter look to my liquid foundation, which I love, but I tend to perhaps put a bit too much on. So this stops that. It goes on very lightly, and you build it up very lightly, it's pretty hard to put it on and overdo it in the first. All right, so I'm going to dab a bit of that on the same brush. You can see how it comes like this. Got to be careful because it upends itself pretty easily. Now I'm going to then just take the same brush that I used and just dry that off. Hopefully not disturbing the concealer too much. Dab it with my finger and kind of get rid of that. Now because it's dried off a little bit, it's not wet, I'm hoping that my eyebrow pencil will glide over that and not slip and give me a crappy end line. So let's see. Now what I'm trying to do, if I get up close, is I'll go underneath the brown pencil. I fill in the gaps. They're just very, very gentle. And because I can still see the feather lines, although they're a bit shiny, a brow technician just recently said that that's scar tissue from where the blade actually scarred me. So it's a bit shiny, like scars go on the skin. They can get a bit shiny. Again, not fun, but that's a byproduct of trying out new technology and you don't know what it's going to look like years down the track. Anyway, we pursue. So I go underneath, follow the line that's there of the brow, giving it a little bit more colour and a little bit more definition, and just literally, you can see how sharp, actually it's gone a bit blunt already, but that's quite a sharp pencil. This product again is from Designer Brands. It's got a lovely little spoolie at the end and it's very good value for money. It's about $11 in the pharmacy, or the drugstore as we call the pharmacy over here, and it's a really, really good product that sticks. It doesn't rub off. Even go to the gym on this. All right, eventually it will come off, but it's pretty damn good for all day. So I'm using that. I go underneath, as I say. I then feather it out with a few feather strokes and go a little above the line. Now here's the kicker. Going out from there just a bit and then following through. Now this colour is called blonde, or it's hazel. Okay, so it's got a bit of colour in it, it's got a bit of red in it, and my hair, as you can see, as it's growing out, is going a bit brassy. Try and tone it, but you know, doesn't always work, so I'm kind of going with it, to be honest. There's no point. And whilst I love these pencils, they don't come in that much of a variety of colours. There's the dark brown, there's the hazel, there's the blonde. I think that's it. I wish they'd do more. I've actually given that feedback to them directly. Now you can see that that tail is now going in a slightly outward direction in line with the shading of my eyeshadow and the line of my eyeliner. I think it's a more youthful look. It's the concealer underneath is holding. Let's try the other eye. I start underneath, fill in the gaps, take the definition of what's already there, then go up, fill in the gaps more. Take a little higher if you want. I'm more concentrating on the underside, and then I'm taking that tail, I'm fanning it out a little bit wider. Very light. You've got to have a light touch with this. Can you see how that's now taken out the same line as the rest of my eye products? I think that's quite important for getting that more youthful look. Now I'm actually going to take another colour, slightly darker, bit cooler, and finish that off and give it a bit of colour change, so it's not a complete red. a little more definition. I'm just checking to see it's kind of on the same lines as the other one. The thing with this is about trial and error and experimentation, like all makeup. And what I love about makeup is, you know, if you don't like it or you get it wrong, it's not forever. That tattoos tend to be forever, but the rest of it you can wipe off and start again. It's all about practice. So that's the look I was trying to explain to you as to what I do to try and manage and conceal out a bit of a tattoo which no longer is serving its purpose, but I'm not going to invest in laser at this point. I'm not going to not wear makeup for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I've been told, until I have a time where I can do that freely. You can't get sun on it, you can't use any makeup. You know, you've got to really plan if you're going to have some laser done, which in our busy lives, celebrities might be able to do that in their downtime, but we certainly can't. So that's my little quick fix. I hope it's helped. Stay tuned for more videos.